Take one.
We'll see if this take makes it in there. All right, so we just finished up the month of October, which in the One Coffee Ritual themes is chore and decor. And we also had John and Gina Heflick on the podcast. And we would normally be sitting on our back patio recording this conversation. And it's not that you can't hear Jessica's microphone. It's just that she is being abnormally quiet today. She's a little under the weather.
I was like, I'm sick. I'm just in a trance.
I know. So she's got a little bit of the fall sniffles. The temperature has dropped, and we're hoping that she can, rest up and recover. But it's the last day of the month. We've got to get the podcast out there, and so I have forced her once again.
I was going to say, it will help me recording a podcast.
That does kind of help, with the healing process.
So much better.
Yeah. Well, what do you? So before we get into John and Gina's conversation, what is kind of the whole theme of chore and decor? Like, what does that bring up for you? I know we did, one of the questions earlier off recording, but what does that bring to mind when you think about vowing to each other in chore and decor?
Oh man, yeah, vowing to mop, even though I hate mopping.
You do hate mopping. That is one of those things
but
where
it's if I do it, you're like, oh wow, you really love me.
Well, and it's also a thing where I feel like if I want to have a quick win with you or to show you that I love you, mopping for you is a pretty quick
true.
way to get there.
That and changing the laundry, which you usually sometimes forget.
Yeah, I kind of suck at that. And you ask me and you set reminders and I forget. Yeah. It's terrible.
But for our home, if you hear hammering in the background, we're actually getting new siding for our house. And I think we've kind of settled into a domain with the decor side where you kind of let me do my thing besides the one praying mantis light that I bought inside. Gosh. And then I'm kind of letting you do your thing on the outside.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it almost lines up with our responsibilities and commitments of the outside chores tend to be mine, mowing the grass and, pressure washing and blowing the leaves and stuff like that. And then you tend to own the inside tasks.
Yeah. Which is a lot easier with our semi-empty nest and way less. Only the dog is messing it up at this point.
Yeah. Counting the days until the dog's hair is no longer a part of your cleaning routine.
Oh, well, I've just accepted hair everywhere all the time. But yeah, we're going to have a black house.
Yes, the exterior house is becoming black, and we're making some improvements to the deck, and I'm excited about it because it is sort of having us enter a new season of being able to host some people from our team, and maybe even just people in our lives and the community
at our house again.
Yeah.
And we're kind of playing into the light and dark theme, with the outside's going to be very dark, and then the inside I always kind of decorate things light and bright.
Well, and the dog's hair is white, so that helps with the decorations. Well, the dog factor was also something that John and Gina had to negotiate.
They did bring that up.
Yeah, we got to sit down with them, and we sort of jumped right into the conversation and started recording almost mid-sentence. And then I don't know if I did a very good job of introducing them. So
we were a little rusty. I felt like they did great. We were a little rusty.
Well, hopefully we'll be back on the saddle and have another podcast out in November. But it is great that I chose to record our podcast right outside of where they're hammering. We'll see if the microphones pick that up or not. Anyway, John is a pastor at a local church. Now, he's not like a senior pastor, where he gets up and preaches or anything like that. It's a rather large church where they have somebody whose full-time job is kind of helping people who are in challenging situations on the margins of life. So he is helping people in and out of homelessness, drug addiction, substance issues, challenges at home. He faces a lot of situations where he sees people at their worst and tries to help them get back up to their best. And he had a rough year a couple years ago where his marriage of 27 years fell apart. And we touch on that a little bit in that episode. And Gina's marriage, I think, maybe had ended about 4 or 5 years before that, but she was also married to a pastor, maybe in the more traditional sense. So anyway, that's a little bit of introduction of John, and then Gina is actually now an employee of Honeymoon Coffee Company. She has been helping us out with bookkeeping and accounting. I say help us, really helping you, taking a lot off your plate.
Yes. Love Gina.
Yeah. So that's a little more by way of introduction. And we did mention the divorce side of it. And this is our first guest who, like us, have been divorced and are sort of navigating those vows and commitments and realities of marriage with some of the baggage of a previous marriage.
Yeah, I feel like every time we have another couple on, we learn something, and it was good to talk with them.
All right, that microphone has to pick up the buzzing sound of the construction outside, which
Yeah.
I'm going
Which
to take
means
as
you need to end this.
our cue to wrap this up. So without further ado, our conversation with John and Gina Heflick on CHORE and DECOR. Love you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Let's start this episode of the Honeymoon Coffee Company podcast the way we start every episode, by a reading from the book. The Facebook. All right, so I am reading John Heflick's Facebook post from a few days ago. John is with us. You'll hear his voice here in a second, as well as Gina's. Starting with today. Today is Gina Blankenship Heflick and my swipe right day. We started our connection via Facebook dating last year, and what a year it's been. I decided to jump back into dating waters just a year after my previous marriage fell apart. I knew it was quick, but I never dreamed I'd find another love so quickly. I've had a lot of misconceptions about myself and dating as a divorcee. Gina and I messaged for a couple of weeks in what ended up being very long messages. Then we began talking on the phone. This led to a couple hours most eves. So we decided to meet in the small town of Mount Vernon, Illinois, which is halfway between Greenville, Illinois, where she was living, and Evansville, Indiana, where I live. One of our convo topics was how we decorate. She likes primitive, unique, very homey decor. Honestly, I was fine with whatever April put on the walls. Until I became single again, I never thought about it much. Gina sent me a photo of the smaller iron pig in the post photo. In scrolling Facebook Marketplace the week before meeting her, it brought up a chance to buy the larger pig, so I jumped on it. There's a picture of 2 pigs for podcast reference here. Looking back, this was way too forward to present to her the first time we met. But I felt like we'd known each other forever before we met. Well, she loved it, and we never looked back after that first date. When you know, you know. Gina is an incredible person, kind, honest, patient, resilient, intelligent, generous. The list could go on. She's been used by God to shore up shaky parts of my life and heal others. She's shown me different ways to live and love, sometimes in ways I didn't know I needed. Our personalities are literally opposites, per Myers-Briggs. She is a night person. I am alive in the morning. She's never had animals in her homes. I have 2 dogs. Her career has been spent in nonprofit accounting, and I've always been people-facing. This hasn't been without its negotiations. I'm blessed that Gina swiped right back. The more we are woven into each other's lives, the more I can't wait to see what God has in store for us.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Isn't it such a good post?
Yes.
So, anyway, so after I read that, I texted John and said, this is actually perfect for our theme for the one coffee ritual this month, which is on chore and decor. And so you guys are sitting here a year into your relationship and blending of families and households. And so let's maybe start with Gina. I don't know, did he run that post by you before he put it out there?
He did not. He told me that he had written a post about divorce a few days before, and he said that he was going to write a redemptive post. And funny enough, my son was in town, and so Saturday morning when he posted that, I had not even looked at Facebook, and then I went to a baby shower and everyone was going, "Oh, what a wonderful post! John is so sweet." And I didn't even have a chance to read it until much later, and I thought, "Oh, that is very sweet." Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what jumped out to you about that, babe? You're smiling from ear to ear over here. Why doesn't my husband write me such sweet Facebook posts?
You do sometimes. No, it's just so good to just see the encouragement and knowing you, Gina, because backstory, Gina just came as a blessing to us a few months ago. We were looking, I had been doing all of our accounting and was getting pretty overwhelmed trying to manage that and, run operations and the people. And so Gina, I don't know how did we even get connected? John, you reached out to Zach?
Yep.
Yeah.
I said, ask Zach if you know anybody.
Zach and I have known each other for a minute, and so Gina had just gotten to town. She'd moved in. We kind of committed to settle for a little bit before. She had some jobs that she brought with her, but she was looking to add some hours to those things.
Yeah.
And so I just texted Zach and said, "Hey, do you know of anyone looking for nonprofit?" Zach knows everybody.
Yes, exactly. I said,
and so I figured if somebody would know somebody that needed this kind of service, and Zach's like, "Oh, I think we do."
Actually, we do.
I thought, "Oh, this is cool. This was not what I was anticipating."
We snatched her up, and she's been awesome, and just has such a good heart. And so, when he was reading that, I was just smiling because just getting to know you, and John, we had already known you before. Yep. And then the other thing that made me laugh was the decor part.
Yep.
Yes.
Because some of me and Zach's worst fights in the beginning came over how we decorate. Mm-hmm.
It was more at the shop, though, than at our house, wasn't it?
It started at the shop.
It continues.
Yeah, last year or the year before, Zach brought home a couch without running it by me. He sent me a picture and said, "Do you like this couch?" I think he might have even said, "For Jacob, my son."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, it seems fine for Jacob."
Right.
He brings the couch home to us.
If it's good enough for Jacob, it's good enough for Jessica.
No, it was not.
Anyway, for me, that was the part that kind of jumped out. But now that we have you guys here, I would love to go back to that moment, or maybe even like you said, right before the swiping right or Facebook dating. I don't even know if Facebook dating was around.
I didn't know about Facebook dating.
Yeah, so maybe take us back to right before you swiped right. When did you kind of feel like you were ready to get back into dating?
Ooh, that's
another
backstory moment that pretty much right after ex-wife and I had separated, Zach had asked me to be involved, or I had weaseled my way into, I don't know which came first, but he had talked about this thing called estuary, where people could come together and just bring what's alive for them, the topics, and sometimes intellectual, sometimes personal, sometimes spiritual. And that sounded like something that was really of interest to me. I needed more community at that point in my life, and I needed something else, something that in addition to, I'm a pastor, and church world is great, but sometimes you need outside those bubbles too, and that gave me a platform for that. And what estuary became for me was a real safe spot, a safe place to share what was going on in my life. I shared about what was happening as my wife was separating from me, and found this platform where people who had been through what I have been experiencing at that point. And Zach, personally, I remember the night that I kind of disclosed some of these things, and there were multiple guys who kind of stood around me and just kind of spoke into my life and said, "It's going to be okay." And I really needed that at that point. And so Zach and another Perry, another guy in the estuary group, came to at a wedding funeral because I couldn't figure out how to get my wedding ring off.
Yeah.
Because it was just something that just didn't. I knew it in my brain, but I couldn't experience it there, and so I thought maybe a communal action of this, and Perry's into rituals, and
Yeah.
so they helped me design this thing. And I didn't even know what it was. I Googled, is there such a thing as a marriage funeral?
Well, there's all the rituals at the beginning,
Yeah.
of a marriage,
Yep.
and so where are the rituals at the
Yeah.
end? And obviously taking off the ring was a big one.
Yeah, it was a big one. So they came over to my house and with some church friends, and we put this thing together, and they were all crazy enough to try it with me, and it helped. And so that was in August of that year. And so a couple months later, I was looking around going, okay, like life feels a little bit stable. And I thought swiping right meant, I was never good at this dating thing back when I, college and those kind of days. So I thought, this is going to take a couple years to figure out. And it just so happened that, one of the first people that I got connected with was Gina.
Yeah. I remember when, I'm glad we're going down memory lane to that, because I remember feeling very hopeful for you, John, at that point, not knowing anything about your existence yet, Gina, but really kind of believing that that you were out there, sort of somewhere. And then there were those more months that needed to happen for you to go through the finality and those different sorts of steps. And so there's the steps towards, some sort of individual wholeness, where you feel like maybe you're ready to expose your life and be exposed to somebody else. And so it starts with swiping right. So then maybe, Gina, how did you get into Facebook dating, I guess?
Yeah, well, I had been farther out. I had been, living on my own for 3 years, and I actually had 7 part-time ministries and churches I was doing books for, so I'd be here one day, one morning, and one afternoon, and running all around, and totally content with my mission and my purpose. And I was a part of what's called a discipleship band. There's 4 women who met every Thursday night and just said what's on our heart, and then someone prayed for you. And over the course of last year, God was just teaching me a lot of things about my own mission and my purpose, and I learned about Enneagram, which turned my world upside down.
What's your Enneagram number? Or do you not want to share it?
No, I'm such a 2. I'm a total 2.
I knew it.
Is 2 a helper?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, and when I learned about that, I thought, there
This
are
is
other
me.
people out there like me.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I
yeah.
cried when
That's
I was
great.
learning about it.
And what's John's?
Okay,
I'm a 3.
Well,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
I think Austin is a 3 too, actually. A 3 also, I should say.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
There we go.
Yeah, so somewhere along the line of that whole year and that whole process, I thought, maybe, because I really had thought, I'll just do
the
ministry,
single
do
thing?
this thing,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll kind of, want to be married again. And then in the back of my brain, that prayer I couldn't really even ask, maybe I'll be a pastor's wife again. It was one of those, I did want to do that, but because I had been, my ex-husband was a pastor, and so when I finally decided, I had all these girlfriends around me, involved and invested in living vicariously through me, and it was a really fun time in the beginning. And my friend Christy had a Post-it note in my office. We both worked at the same church with the guys I was burning. Because I would go out on one date and I'd be, nope, next. And then I met John.
How long did that go on for?
I don't know, a month or so.
Oh, okay, so it was pretty quick.
Yeah,
for both
it was
of you.
pretty quick.
Yeah,
I'd been on. I also wanted to talk right away because I didn't want to waste my time if there was absolutely. So
I see that in you.
Yeah,
down
I'm
to business.
super
You're
efficient.
Efficient.
And so we'd message a second, and then I'd say, well, let's talk on the phone. And I'd be like, I don't think there's a connection.
That's great.
And I just would move on because I just didn't want to. So, so when we started messaging, well, the first thing I thought was really sweet. When I swiped right, I guess, was a Friday, and my boys had just come in town. My oldest lives in Charlotte. And he messaged me, and I said, oh, my kids are in town. And he said, oh, my kids bring me life. I'll message you back when they leave. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay. And on Sunday night, he did. He messaged me back, and I was impressed by that. And then our conversations, we didn't move to the phone quick because they were so deep. I thought, what book is he getting these questions out of? He would ask me these really deep questions, and I'd be, messaging really long messages back and forth, and what does Jesus mean to you? And like, okay,
how much time do you have?
Yeah, no, for real. And so we messaged, and I'm sad because he deleted his. Well, I'm glad that he deleted his Facebook dating profile. But I'm sad.
That's probably good.
Oh no, it deleted the messages too.
We screenshotted them, and
I didn't realize it would do that.
I know. We really wish we had those because they were so good. Before we ever gave each other our phone number, it was probably 2 weeks of these really.
Yeah, I think
deep.
Zach downloaded all of our.
Oh yeah, I've got them on a PDF somewhere.
In the beginning when you're writing each other poems and
yeah.
So. Yeah, so then
it turned to texting or a phone call.
Phone call, because the message kind of got to the divorce story, and we're like, yeah, that's a conversation.
Sure,
I think we spent 4 hours on the phone that night, and then about 3 hours or so every night for the next, I don't know.
For a while.
And then it was about 3 weeks before we could both, our schedules work to get together to meet in Mount Vernon, but...
That's another logistical question. Did you guys have a radius of sort of how far you wanted to talk with people who didn't live in your community? Was it 3 hours, 10 hours? What's...
Oh, so 50? It's like Facebook Marketplace where you just...
Yes,
you add your radius.
It is.
It is very
Is that shocking? I mean, come on.
It is very much like that.
Zach has never looked at the Marketplace on Facebook.
Oh, really?
I let her. Don't worry. I bring home couches from Costco. She brings home knickknacks from Facebook Marketplace.
Jessica, be glad
I've almost been murdered.
Yeah. So what did you guys set your parameters at then?
I don't. I had tried a couple of the other Upward is a Christian one, and but they're expensive. They're $30 a month. And then I found Facebook, and it's free, and I love free. And, and what I found out was all the people are there because it's free and it's easy. You just click on it, and but you can set. So I don't remember exactly what I set my parameters to.
But it was outside of your community, you knew that you needed.
Were you guys 2 hours away or 3?
2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you? Do you remember?
And I think I set it at 2, but it would give me suggestions outside of that, kind of concentric circles. And I had a very similar experience. As somebody who trying to figure out who I would want to come into my world. I have a unique world. Yeah. I span church and connecting with unhoused people, and it's not a clean and neat world. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know what kind of person would be that person, but I thought if it's local, they're probably at a nonprofit that I have to relate to as part of my work world. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do that, or it would be somebody in our church, because I don't get to connect with people from other churches. I thought that would be super weird. I don't want to date somebody who attends, because then what happens if someone goes sideways? And so I thought, well, I had it in my brain that I pretty much have to meet somebody out of town, because the chances of meeting somebody in Evansville that isn't already associated with some organization that I'm connected with was very slim. Mm. So that's kind of where my focus was a little bit outside Evansville.
Yeah.
And Gina, your kids had already moved away from home, so you were open to moving?
Exactly. So I was open to moving. My oldest lived in Charlotte. My youngest lived around in that area, but as long as I was sort of around-ish, and my parents lived in Iowa, so I was kind of looking at,
somewhere in the Midwest. Yeah.
So as you guys are exploring this, in the back of your mind, probably somewhere, you're wondering or knowing that if it progresses to a certain level, that there will be an uprooting of one of your lives, and a merger of both of your lives.
Yeah.
How soon did that start to become a logistical reality and an emotional, spiritual reality that you had to start negotiating?
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
I mean, by the time we had covered so much in texting and talking, talking 3 and 4 hours every night. By the time we met, it was pretty much, is there a spark or not?
Yeah.
And so all of our friends were going, what?
So wait, there was still a part of you that was like, you know what? I've seen a picture, talked on the phone, but we gotta make sure there's,
Well, there were two steps to that in my brain. Was both, yes, we got to meet, and is there a spark? And that wasn't a problem. But there was also an agreement from our communities.
Right.
Like, my people needed to meet her, her people needed to meet me, because her family was a little bit out further. I did talk to them on the phone beforehand and met them once, but by the time I met them, we were honestly in wedding prep. And my family isn't super close, and so they're not that traditional family that would be able to vet, if you will.
Sure.
And so, when she would come this way, we'd have dinner and meals and such with some of my, people who were looking out for me.
Yeah.
And then I would do the same for, people who were looking out for her. And so in that, there was kind of a discernment.
Yeah.
So it was quick. I totally understand that, but it definitely wasn't without its checks and balances.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, do we like each other?
Yeah.
There's bigger considerations here. We're quite adults.
Yes.
We're on the other end of adulthood. This is there's a lot more to consider than am I attracted to you?
Yeah, we kind of had these steps out, meeting our friends. I mean, our close friends. Christy, who ended up marrying us, one of my best friends. Best friend of 25 years.
She grilled me. No,
She
grilled you.
Oh, she did. We knew this going in. It was a grill.
It was a grill.
Appropriate, but it was a grill.
Yeah, it was sweet. And then, of course, his daughter lives in Raleigh, and my son lives in Charlotte. So that was part of the process, was meeting the children. And so we actually took a road trip in late January, I think it was. Yeah. Went out, stayed with my son a few days, went out and stayed with his daughter a couple days, went and saw where he used to live in Columbia, and came back. So we had all of these, and we both, I think partially to appease our friends, we would be like, well, we're on this trajectory, but we both know that we can either one jump off at any time.
Sure.
Yes, we're on this route towards engagement and marriage because we don't see any roadblock to that.
Sure.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I guess, later in life, dating is a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's when you're young, you date around and you see who you like and you see who you are and stuff like that. But I kind of had a vision for who I would like already, and then I kind of knew who I was.
Wasn't an accountant.
Well, no, it wasn't. Gina surprised me. She didn't like dogs, and my post had my Facebook profile had dogs in it.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
It took me a while to swipe right because of that.
Yeah.
I had seen his picture, and I'm like,
I could
he's
see
a
that
pastor.
being an issue with Zach.
Yeah.
And I kind of stereotyped Gina's occupation and was like, I don't know.
Boring accountant.
Yes.
Well, again, I'm a people-facing person with a little bit of chaos in my life. Like, I'm not a row and spreadsheet kind of person.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit different. And even in the decor thing, one of my, I'm a 3-wing 4 probably. So I had done this creative thing to try to envision what life was going to be like. Zach saw this, and it was kind of a dark moon with a sun coming up behind the moon, and I made it out of pallet wood and stuff like that, and I hung it over my mantle for a while, and I knew it was a temporary thing. It was kind of an odd piece, but it was mine.
Sure.
I did it.
It was
creator.
And it was part of me, and I was part of my journey. And so even that became a negotiation piece, like, where does this happen? Because it was significant to me, and it's now in our basement.
Okay. I was going to ask, as you look around this office, there are similar pieces in this room?
Yes, absolutely.
This is my version of the basement.
Yeah.
Office,
Yeah, I've got all my Marvel nerd stuff in the basement. And so we had to kind of figure out what decor would be like.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't really have this huge thing, but I tend toward more colorful, more international things. I traveled a little bit, and Gina was definitely more homey.
Neutral palette more.
Yeah.
And
She liked dark paint on the walls.
Yes.
And I was more like, put red on it. Like, what do I care? And so there's been some,
it took us
negotiation.
a while to find the paint color for our front room.
And I have a over 100-year-old house. It's a historic home.
It's beautiful.
And so it's all original wood, and so it's.
And Gina, you were coming into a home that he already owned.
And
which
so
that's hard.
It's different. Yeah.
In my view, he liked mid-century modern. Well, that's just what was sort of left over, kind of from. So he wasn't held fast to that, but in my brain I'm thinking, how am I going to match this? How is my thing?
To
how
become
are my
one.
feet?
Yes.
And all of my, like, I have nothing of value necessarily, but everything's really valuable to me because there's a story behind it, and I've picked each thing from, I've curated these pieces from wherever, and I like to look at them, and these cabinets or these whatever, and I thought, how are these going to work? It really stressed me out for a little bit until we actually moved it all in and started to, because I didn't know how held fast he was to this chair, this
Did you
rug,
guys fight over it at all?
I think the thing that we disagreed with most, we had to come to an agreement on, I should say, it was the paint color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In my emotional entering a room, I don't want to enter a cave. As my living room. And Gina tended toward dark colors, more muted colors, and I was like, where's the life here? This kind of wood art thing had like very bright reds and oranges and very high contrast and stuff. And I realized you can't put that on a wall, but I like to feel life. I like there to be color and there to be vibrancy, feeling, and that. And Gina wants to feel at home. She wants to be at a place where she can sit and rest and kind of be attuned to her environment, and that's calming and peaceful. And so I live chaos, she lives spreadsheets, and so it was the merging of those two worlds that we had to try to figure it out. And one of the ways we did it, honestly, was I just kind of went crazy with my office at church. And I kind of have a specific...
Kind of like my office.
I resonate with this.
This is the domain that you get to own completely.
Absolutely. So I have some of the very unique things there, and that's where I've kind of kept some of that stuff. But we do have a Princess Bride poster.
Yeah, we do.
That is kind of both of us, right? It's our generation, it's our era.
Well, it ended up...
You said yes to this. We're gonna have this right now. Is that what's going on?
No, I'm pro Princess Bride. I love the Princess Bride. No, when we ended up picking the color, which is kind of a dark turquoise kind of color, so similar, a little bit darker than the sweater Zach has on, but there was a box I had over on the table. I mean, I was bringing home these kind of like brown, gray, greens, and he's like, but how about this bright yellow? This went on for a while, and then I looked over at this box I had that was just one of those storage boxes that like my kids' school memories are in, and I said, I wouldn't hate that color in here, and he's like, I can live with that. And that we literally took the box lid to the paint store.
You did it.
Matched this.
We matched it. And so once we put this turquoise on the wall, and he took his thing down, we needed something over the fireplace, and he's like, well, I have this Princess Bride poster, and it would look really good. I was like, I'm in. So that kind
colors
of,
ended up matching.
It kind of blended us in a weird way, and then there's all my cute home and stuff all around it, but yeah.
I can imagine that it would have been a difficult, or at least something you'd want to navigate through carefully. She's the one who's uprooting, her home and her stuff, and how do you say, like, okay, there's two full houses, right?
Yes.
You had probably all the things. So did some of the things that were duplicated get sold on Facebook Marketplace or donated, or there were
some of those, and some of them we just are storing for kids who are getting processed and moving out and things like that. The kitchen stuff, especially the pragmatic things. But there were some things that were sold on Facebook Marketplace
to make room for my things.
Yeah. And one thing that was clear in coming together was that, and we both agreed on this, was the bedroom needed painted, and that pretty much whatever Gina wanted in the bedroom, we were going to try to do.
Yeah.
And so that became kind of the first space that was hers. And we're still quite in process of this. We're not finished at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are literally like a year-ish of
7
the swipe.
months.
I mean,
well, yes.
A year
we'll be
of
married
the
7 months tomorrow.
Yeah, March 30th is our wedding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of questions, I think. Jessica's got the questions pulled up, that couples using the one coffee ritual, would be prompted, and we thought these might be good to bring up here. So we've talked mostly about decor. We'll switch to chore maybe after that. Do you have a decor question that we can put them on the spot and see?
Which you guys just kind of led into it. So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
What's one thing in your home, a piece of furniture, art, or an object that holds special meaning to you, and why? And is there a story behind it? Which, John, I guess you kind of already just told us with the little piece that you created during your post-divorce period.
Yes. Gina has a story behind literally everything. Literally I'm curious to see which
one.
Even that pig. So that story was a little bit. I remember it a little bit differently. We were talking about thrifting in thrift stores because I love to go. I just love to go on the hunt of unique things. And my mom and I were on a bus trip, and we went to Martha's Vineyard, and there was a thrift store. I was like, Mom, we have to go on a thrift store in Martha's Vineyard. And that's where I found this pig. And I'm like, it was so random, but I liked it. I don't know why. And so it wasn't like I sent in this pig, this is my favorite thing in the house.
No.
We were talking about thrifting in this, Martha's Vineyard, and so I had randomly sent him this pig. So it was even more random that this pig was part of our story, which now those two pigs have a prominent place.
Is this pig your prized possession in your home? The thing that makes you the happiest?
Well, not then, but, it's really happy together with us two because it reminds us of our first date.
Yeah.
But literally everything has, you could look anywhere. There's so many. I just curated things from a lot of places, and I have moved. I think it's been 18 was the last count.
Oh my gosh.
So a lot of times, and each time I'm a purger, so I would get rid of things that don't bring me joy or whatever. So I was kind of down to all the things that just I really like. But, even like a simple little sign on the wall, my son, and it didn't all the way match, but, he was in, I think, 7th grade maybe, and they had gone on this fall trip. My birthday is in November, and they had stopped at somewhere, I don't know, Cracker Barrel, somewhere that had a gift shop, and he asked one of the leaders, can I have borrow money to get this because my mom's birthday's coming up? So he bought me this.
Sweet.
I know. Then he couldn't wait because my birthday's November 29th, and he gave it to me October 29th because he just couldn't wait. So how can I not have this sign?
I'm also wondering, did he actually pay the person back?
Probably not.
Who knows? But I love that sign.
So
I
cute.
love that story. And just that he thought of me on his youth group trip. And so anyway, I have a lot of those.
Yeah, I think even the Princess Bride, which was a present given to me, it's an original in theaters poster of Princess Bride, and my daughter gave that to me a couple years ago for Christmas. But that represents something. One of the things that Gina and I have always connected with has been the shared histories that we have. We both grew up in youth group at church and different traditions and denominations, but both went to summer camp every summer, and that was a significant part of our life. And our memories of we are 4 days difference in age.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Yes.
It's very much paralleled when I have a reference to some sort of 80s something. She's like, oh yeah, I was here at that point, and I was here at that point. So the Princess Bride was both a shared thing, and I think that's maybe a principle to think about in how do we do this? Like, what can we share in a memory, in a thought process, and this something that can align us? Like, where do we agree, and then start from there? Because I think if we stayed in where we disagreed, there'd just be walls built, and that doesn't work.
Because you started today by saying you guys are opposites.
We are. Yes. I am an ENTP on Myers-Briggs, and she is an ISFJ. So
For real.
we're literally opposite letters.
For real. That became a lot of our, those 4-hour conversations in the beginning. Yeah, we would talk about.
But it seems like you're really intentional about finding those shared things.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it provides, that spark and that energy, and that, I wonder what Gina thinks about this. I wonder what John thinks about this. And you don't have to wait.
And not stopping at just the surface of it. So I quickly realized that if I stopped at just the surface of what was in front of me with Gina, it was not enough. Gina is a behind-the-surface person, and that's one of the things I love about her. And so just pushing into that and saying, okay, what's the story behind this? It was a lot of some of those conversations of, oh, well, this meant this to me. And when I realize what it means to her, it's not just the thing in front of me, that totally reshades how I'm looking at whatever piece of furniture, whatever chore, whatever, anything that we're looking at. It helps me see the her behind the object. And that's helped us a lot, too. And she didn't come in guns blazing like, you got to get rid of this and you got to get rid of this, right?
No.
At all. So it wasn't... There was no aggressive stance on either side.
Sure.
It was trying to understand first. And that's helped.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy that you guys have only known each other for a year.
I know.
It just seems like, the level of understanding that you have for each other is pretty deep and profound.
Well, it really understanding the personality types, like we lean into that.
Yeah.
And I remember one of our, not fights, but like when the first time I came here and we went over to see the Christmas thing at that hotel,
West Baden.
West Baden. But anyway, we kind of got into like not a disagreement, but I hurt his feelings, and I realized, knowing his 3 and I'm a 2, we talked about that. Like the whole hour on the way home, we talked through why what I said made him feel this way, and it's helped us so much. And that was our first. My first time.
Do you
coming
feel like
here.
you had that in your first relationship?
Oh no, not at all.
So you just didn't really talk about your feelings,
No.
or go deeper into
Yeah,
it? Because
no.
that's a lot how I was.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, I could, but he just wasn't that kind of person to be able to do that. He didn't grow up in a household that was able to do that. And I very much talk about my feelings. I talk about my feelings with my boys. They talk about their feelings. I always joke, my oldest, I knew when he would want to talk because he'd come lay on the couch beside me watching TV, and I'd just wait. About 30 minutes, he'd be like, Mom, and he would just share whatever, And so I love that I was able to bring that in. But no, knowing especially the personality types and the ENTP and all of that, and the 3 and the 2, and just knowing that has helped.
Well, this also, do you guys talk about the 5 love languages as well? You talked about growing up in the Christian culture.
Yeah,
I remember that was a big thing.
Yep.
What are you guys' love languages or preferences, I guess, for love language?
Yeah, we talk about that a little bit, not as much as we talk about the other things.
Well, you've asked for words of affirmation.
Sure.
That's one of them. And
But that's also a 2 thing, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think Gina is how she values things, the story behind them. Gifts are a big deal to her.
Not that she's materialistic, but
No,
Not at all, yeah.
those
No, it's
things.
the
The
Yeah.
thought
story
that went
behind
behind
it,
it,
and,
right.
or the process of coming about to this. So that's been a big realization for me, and so I gotta. That was not my ex-wife's kind of way of thinking, and so I gotta up my game in that a little bit. I'm a 3. I want to perform. I want to do. I want to get an 8 on the test.
And that's so good.
So that was things, and I think. I'm a time person, so time and experience. I don't think experience is necessarily in that, but I want to go do stuff, and I want to go experience new things, try new foods, look at new stuff, and so her kind of adapting to that has helped.
Yeah,
out too.
it's funny how you'll start, like, I feel like when me and Zach first started dating, we were pretty opposite. And then now it's like we're like more in the middle, like we both moved.
Or we've like
towards each
merged to
other.
where you are more of a risk taker and I'm more conservative in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's kind of cool how that's the experience of becoming one.
It is.
And you had mentioned the chore part of it, and so you guys were both used to, or at least Gina more so than John, have used to like managing a household and figuring out how everything stays clean, gets repaired, etc. So how did you guys negotiate the division of chores?
Yeah. Well, one thing was it was intimidating. Her ex-husband is a manages hospitals and was a managed summer camps, and so he knows how to do lots of stuff, like hands-on kind of person. And so, I'm not necessarily that hands-on type of
Unless
person.
it's making art out of pallet wood.
Well,
and then,
I can fiddle, but I don't know how to do anything. And so that was definitely an intimidation factor for me, was like, I don't know if I can live up to the standard of like, I can fix that type thing. So one of the first things that we had happen, so we talked about those things. So one of the backstories too was that I'd been through a divorce care group at City Church, which is not where I'm on staff at, and met an amazing lady named Michelle, and she had divorce care was just a great experience for me in at that moment in life and facing what was going on in my life, because man, denial was deep and wide in my life, and slowly Michelle kind of pastored me into understanding what was going on and what I needed to do about it. But in that process, she had mentioned a list of, she said, if anybody ever wants to date again, I have a list of 600 and some questions.
It's 277.
The accountant
Still
knows.
a lot.
No, yeah. And some of them were half-hour conversations.
There was a
yeah.
lot of questions, huge amount of questions. So we had committed to doing all of those questions.
Wow.
Before,
On the phone, we did all of those before we got engaged. Really.
yeah, there's a couple of them that we did face to face, but so we had already had some of these conversations about what to do when, who does the chores, who does this.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we both kind of came from was a little bit more of a traditional type thought process in families, and so the husband does this and the wife does this, and that's never necessarily been what I've per se wanted. It just kind of fell that way a lot, and so it came to we had one of our HVAC units broke down, and couldn't figure out what was going on with it, and Gina had Googled this thing, and she said, well, maybe it could be this.
Well, he wanted to call, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to spend money,
Yep.
so I Googled how to fix it.
So she Googled how to fix
And
it.
I said, listen, it could be this.
This sounds like it could be easy.
It could be this capacitor. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and so I had fiddled with it a little bit before, and so I went out and looked at it again, like anxiety through
Right,
the roof, doing
yeah,
this, like, am
yeah,
I going to
you're
screw
like,
am I going to screw it
get
up?
electrocuted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I knew enough how to turn the breaker off, and so that was my level. That would hit my lid with turning the breaker off. But through a Google thing, through YouTube, figured out how to take it off, and went to Grainger, which is like real man store.
Yeah.
You have to work
Super
hard to get in the door, I
intimidating.
think.
Yeah, seriously. And so I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you give me this thing? And they're like, okay, this. And so we ended up putting it back together, and it worked.
Wow.
But this was
You
probably
felt like a man.
$30.
I did. Finally.
$30.
$30 over probably $300,
And you were standing 3 inches taller.
seriously.
Yeah.
But
and
it-
that's
but it
my love
took-
language right there.
Yeah.
But it took probably a week and a half for that to happen.
Yeah.
So she was really,
No, it wasn't that long.
well, it felt like a long time.
It was like 4 days.
It
He was having panic attacks when you were
I'm serious. Like I was
Time dilation is a
hating.
thing.
We
I was
have a
hating
two-
this thing.
We have a two units.
Yeah.
So our
Yeah.
upstairs was
Yeah,
full,
yeah.
and so we just lived upstairs.
You
for
had
4
a place
days.
to go.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. But that was for me a chore. I mean, it wasn't a
Yeah.
daily
Yeah.
chore, but
Yeah.
it was a thing that you were expected to do as part
Sure.
of the family, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I knew how to do that thing, but I knew her ex-husband would know how to do it in a skinny minute, right? And so that's intimidating. Like, how do I live up to this thing? And
Which I had that. I did not have that expectation.
I did. I'm a 3. I want to do things according to everybody else. So, but the kitchen stuff, like Gina came from a camp background, so there's a lot of like safety precautions, and I cook
food
like a
handler's
Swedish
license
chef.
world.
Yes.
So my eyes must have been this big the first time I watched him handling meat, and I was like, "Are you gonna do that with that?
Are you using the same cutting board
Are
for
you
vegetables?
pushing that rag around the counter, wiping the Anyway, we've."
And my internal conversation was, I ain't killed nobody yet. I've been
Yeah,
cooking for
yeah.
30 years. Like, I can't do this too bad. But,
Oh my gosh.
but that was a negotiation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that was certainly a negotiation.
it was around chores. So I think
Yeah.
as far as like what we pragmatically
Yeah.
do on the daily, we just kind of freewheel it a lot.
Yeah, whoever's bothered by it, clean it up, kind of.
Yeah. And I do things in the morning.
mine
and
is-
then she does
Zach.
things if whatever's not done
Sure.
during the day. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm leaving the house. I just put laundry in. Set your alarm
Oh, there
so
you go.
that you can switch the laundry
Yeah.
over. And then I always come home like 4 or 5 hours later,
And the laundry has.
he'll be like,
Oh.
oh, shoot. When the alarm went off, it wasn't ready. And I said, well, why didn't you just reset your alarm
for a couple minutes?
Because I assumed that I would remember it, and I didn't. And yeah,
it's a common story with
it
us.
happens weekly. I mean, it is kind of embarrassing how few times I'm able to nail that one. Yeah, I'll own that one. Ours is, I guess, a little tied to our circadian rhythms as well. Like, so our coffee ritual has to do with, at night, I will grind the coffee, get the filter ready, pour the water into the coffee machine, and then in the mornings, she wakes up before me and is able to turn on the coffee and, get it in her system, a little bit faster, and then
we have
she's
I don't
able
even have to get up.
She's able to brew it from bed and then,
nice.
walk. She has coffee at her lips, within 15 seconds of getting out of bed.
That is nice.
But for me, I'm still asleep. So then when I eventually wake up, I'll send her a text message and she'll bring me a cup of coffee. So I don't even have to get out of bed for the coffee to touch my lips. But that's sort of how we negotiate that sort of coffee part of our ritual. And then you had another question, I think, that I think would, just read it. Yeah, this is a good one.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. Was there someone in your life, a parent, grandparent, roommate, who modeled a household task in a way that inspired you? What did they teach you? Might be a tough one.
Well, I remember I grew up at my grandmother's a lot. My dad, interestingly enough, was a race car driver, traveled the country racing cars. And my mom went with him, so we stayed with my grandma a lot during the school year especially. And to me, like, she was the ultimate housekeeper and all these things, but she said, really, if you just keep your house picked up and your dishes done, your house looks clean, And so
look too closely.
Yeah, exactly. So I think about those two things. She also was super hospitable, so it didn't bother her if things, like, she would rather have people than a super, super clean house. And so, I kind of function with that too, but I've always kind of thought about that, those things that are kind of picked up. People don't notice the dust in the corner necessarily. They might all the dog hair everywhere.
Guilty as charged.
I sweep that a lot.
Yeah, we have a husky mix, and so she sheds. Yeah,
we have a dog that I believe sheds more than any other dog in history.
Well, maybe the husky would give it a run for its money.
Yeah, I don't know.
We wash our sheets in the dryer, the lint trap. I pull it out. Entire thing is full of hair.
Yes.
Yeah,
and we're pretty clean. Like, we vacuum almost daily.
Yeah.
Wash our sheets every week. Like, why is it this bad?
Yeah.
This was one of our negotiations. Our bedroom doors stay shut. There's no dogs in the bedroom.
Okay.
That's one of my fresh air places I can go.
So that's your safe space.
That's one of my safe spaces.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the dogs.
Yeah.
Which was a shift for me because one of
Did they sleep with you?
One of my dogs did.
Yep.
Yeah, she slept in the room with me, and which was fine. I can live with that. There was a negotiation.
You'll exchange the dog for Gina.
But I do need to give her a little special attention during the day. Make sure she knows she's loved.
Not me. The
dog, of course.
Yes.
Yes. So that was one of our negotiations.
Yeah. I would say mine probably, as far as what I learned, my mom was growing up, was the custodian of our church. And she didn't always keep the cleanest house. She kept the church clean a lot, so I grew up scrubbing toilets.
Cobbler's kids have no shoes.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so I knew how to scrub toilets and buff floors and do all that from when my mom pulled me into church work. And but as far as home goes, not so clean. But during my youth group days, as a teenager, we would occasionally have groups of teenagers, my youth group friends, over to our house, and we'd play Monopoly and some of these big long board games. And my mom would make popcorn on the stove, and she had some powdered cheese she'd put on it. And so that was a big thing in the youth group. And my house was, I didn't even probably realize it so much at the time, but it was not well kept. It was pretty dirty. It was old. I lived in a double wide on a foundation. in country area in Northeast Ohio, and nobody judged that coming into it. Now, part of it was because everybody was not real rich who came over, probably, but part of it was that Mom knew how to help people feel at home, and she was joyful, and we played games, and nobody really was looking around, at least that I know of, looking and judging my house. And so one of the things that I learned was, okay, things don't have to be like the dog hair. Okay, I'm going to clean, and I think it was pretty clean even before Gina got into the house. Yeah. But I'm not going to hyper-focus on that, but I do love having people over.
Yeah.
And as a rhythm of life, that needs to happen for me. And so, but I want to focus on how they feel when they get there. Yeah. What's their experience, and how are they talking? And so I love this app idea. You know, how do we get people talking and going deeper and communicating about their lives? And because as they leave, they're going to take what they feel a whole lot more than they see a dust bunny with dog hair in the corner.
And being a 2, this is where I really fit into his world, because a 2 wants to make sure everyone's taken care of and you're all okay and you feel really happy that you're here, And so I think, and we had a game night before we even got engaged too. I was here one weekend.
Part of meeting my people.
It was part of the deal.
And you were called upon or requested to help co-host the game night,
yes.
I guess?
Yeah. Even in dating.
I don't know if I was even asked.
We talked about it.
No, we were having a game night, and I was there, and so, it just, but it was so natural.
Kind of fell into place.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Well, you guys are an inspiring, story. You have gone through, a lot in the last year. The anniversary is how soon?
7 months is tomorrow.
7 months. Yeah. The wedding anniversary is in March. So you guys are technically very much in the honeymoon phase, and hopefully get to kind of stay there forever.
Yeah. That'd be great.
As long as you can. So. Well, we didn't really get with the introductions of sort of like where you guys, we know Gina works for us now, but you mentioned you work, as a pastor, and this is, your world and your life, and we're glad to have you in our community and in our lives, like this. And, we just appreciate you being willing to share your story a bit, and we're excited to share it with our many listeners.
Many question mark?
Many listeners. At least a few. So,
yeah. No, it was really inspiring, and I feel like every time we talk to a couple, it like enriches our relationship too. Yeah. Just to see how you guys handle situations and have so much grace for each other, and thinking about your personality types and how to really blend your lives together. So it's been really good to hear from you guys today.
Yeah. Not just opposites attract, but opposites, have the magnetic charge to hold together in your case. So I appreciate it.
Well, thanks
for having us.
We're glad you both found the one.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Zach was a big part of my journey, I know, so.
Yeah, and you brought Gina to an estuary meeting that I missed.
You did? Yes, yeah.
And that was before we got married as well.
That was before we got married. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
he still hasn't gotten me to come here.
That's how we negotiate.
All right.
One of these days, she'll come to
I'm
this
here
meeting.
doing this podcast with you.
I have to choose my request.
That's right.
All right. Well, with that, cheers. That's it for this episode of the Honeymoon Coffee Co. podcast. For all things honeymoon, check out honeymooncoffeeco.com, where you can buy the one subscription box for yourself or for someone that you love. And if you're listening to this with someone that you love, always remember, this was once your dream. Cheers.